I need to borrow your car right quick.
What kind of shit is that? Most people want to borrow sugar, or even ketchup. You want to borrow my car? Hell no!
The phone rang at 2 a.m., shaking Ice Cube out of his sleep. Half awake and confused, he grabbed the phone, only to hear a studio executive drop a bombshell. The project he'd spent 2 decades fighting for was done. Gone, just like that. 20 years of calls, deals, and dreams wiped out overnight. The long-awaited Final Friday movie was officially dead, but that's just the surface of this wild story. What came next flipped everything fans thought they knew about one of the most iconic comedies ever made.
Move now. Working over at the Fox Hill Mall?
Yeah, getting discounted clothes and shit, you like?
Hidden feuds split the cast apart. Heartbreaking losses cast shadows over the franchise, and shocking secrets kept buried for years were finally exposed. There was even a dinner that saved the movie's future, and a strange million-dollar mystery that fans still can't wrap their heads around. These are the 28 untold secrets behind Friday that nobody saw coming. And trust this, by the time you hit secret number 22, you'll be speechless. Secret number 1, Friday wasn't born from laughs, it was born from straight-up frustration. Most people assume Ice Cube came up with the idea to make people laugh.
Come here! Come here!
But nah, that's not how it started at all. Back in the early 90s, Cube was angry. Every film about black neighborhoods in Los Angeles showed the same dark side. Guns, gangs, death, and misery. Movies like Boys in the Hood and Colors carried strong messages, sure, but they didn't tell the full story. Cube knew there was more that was community, and he was ready to show it. Ice Cube knew that world inside out. He'd lived it, but something kept bugging him. Where were the stories that showed the good moments, the laughter, the times when friends would just chill on the porch, cracking jokes and talking trash until the streetlights came on? He and DJ Pooh remembered growing up in South Central with way more warmth than what Hollywood ever showed. Yeah, there was struggle, no doubt about that, but there was also real love, community, and that everyday humor that kept people going. They wanted to prove that life in the hood wasn't just about pain. You could survive and still have a good day. That's why Friday wasn't just another comedy. It was a bold statement, a mission to flip the script and throw a giant middle finger at every movie that thought it already knew the hood. Secret 2, even Ice Cube's own people thought he'd lost it. When he announced he wanted to make a comedy, his crew looked at him like he'd lost his damn mind.
Door!
All right, man.
Hey! You kids quit slamming my goddamn door!
Damn.
This was the same Ice Cube from NWA, the hardcore rapper who dropped America KKK Most Wanted and Death Certificate. His music was fierce, political, and straight-up confrontational. So when Cube said he wanted to make people laugh, everyone around him thought he was joking, but he wasn't. When Ice Cube dropped It Was a Good Day, even his own crew was confused. They were like, why is the hardest rapper out here talking about sunshine and peace?
Oh, see that shit?
This monster fuck.
I didn't even get my turn, man.
Oh, man, fix that shit, man.
To them, it sounded like career suicide, a soft move from a man known for fire and fury. But Cube clapped back with a line that shut everyone up. I'm a reality rapper, and reality's got good days too. That one sentence said it all. He wasn't changing who he was showing more of it. People had gotten used to seeing Cube as the tough guy, the voice of anger, rebellion, and truth, but he was about to flip that image completely.
Fuck you, motherfucker! You think you're slick? Gonna come over here and ask me for some money?
Friday was his chance to prove that he could make people laugh just as hard as he made them think. The only question was, would Hollywood even let him try? Secret 3, the credit card plan almost became real. Sounds wild, right? But Cube and DJ Pooh were dead serious. They were ready to risk it all and fund Friday themselves using credit cards, just like Robert Townsend did for Hollywood Shuffle. They'd read up on how Kevin Smith made Clerks on a shoestring budget, and they thought, why not us? Their plan, keep it cheap, One neighborhood, a few actors, and a whole lot of hustle. They even considered filming the entire movie in black and white to cut down on film stock and lighting costs. Imagine that, Friday with no color, just raw comedy and street life in shades of gray. The whole cultural vibe would have changed forever. Still, that was the plan. Two bold guys from South Central, ready to max out their cards and bet everything on a script the studios probably wouldn't even look twice at.
That's like me asking you to use your air conditioner or something.
Well, Craig, I mean, if we had an air conditioner.
Then came the call that changed everything. New Line Cinema was in. Just like that, Friday was finally getting a real shot. Secret 4. Almost every single character in Friday came straight from real life. This wasn't just some made-up Hollywood script. This was Ice Cube and DJ Pooh's world written down with all its rawness and humor. Most people have no clue how personal this movie actually was. Craig getting fired on his day off for stealing boxes? That wasn't just a funny line. That really happened to Ice Cube's own cousin, word for word. Smokey's wild weed adventures and bad decisions, those came straight out of DJ Pooh's real-life messes. Even Debo, the scary neighborhood bully who had everybody running, he was based on a real dude they grew up with. Craig's dad, played by the legendary John Witherspoon, was inspired by every loud, no-nonsense father figure from their block. And the smaller characters, the crackhead Izal, the relentless Felicia, the flashy drug dealer Big Worm, all of them were drawn from real folks they'd known in South Central. This wasn't just a comedy, it was their neighborhood brought to life. Every laugh, every shout, every quiet moment hit different because it came from real life.
You better put some water on that shit, boy.
All right, I'll eat it.
Hey!
Secret 5. The studio straight up crushed DJ Pooh's dream. Picture this. You write a character that's basically you. Every joke, every move, every little detail pulled straight from your own life. You are that character. But when it's time to cast the role, the studio tells you you're not good enough to play yourself. That's exactly what happened to DJ Pooh. He had built Smokey from the ground up. It was his story. The weed hustles, the street smarts, the wild energy, all of it came from Pooh's real experiences growing up in South Central. Who else could have nailed it better than the guy who lived it? But New Line Cinema wasn't having it. They said no. Their reason? Pooh didn't have enough acting experience. They wanted someone bigger, a recognizable name who could pull crowds to the theater. So Pooh had to swallow his pride and settle for a smaller role, playing Red instead of Smokey. Just imagine how that must have felt watching someone else act out your own life story on screen. And yet, Pooh didn't let it break him. He didn't throw shade, didn't fight the production, didn't walk away. Instead, he stood by Cube and backed the vision all the way. He cared more about seeing the movie win than claiming the spotlight for himself. And that loyalty is part of what made Friday legendary. Secret 6. Believe it or not, Chris Rock and Tommy Davidson almost became Smokey before Chris Trucker ever stepped on set.
I don't even talk with all the horses missing their hair around
Oh, here you
here.
go. Too early. It's too early.
The list of actors who could have played Smokey was straight up wild. Chris Rock was one of the top contenders. Imagine his sharp, sarcastic vibe in that role. His comedy style was smart and biting, but it would have given the movie a totally different feel. Then there was Tommy Davidson, known for his high energy, over-the-top comedy. He could have nailed the physical humor, sure, but it still wouldn't have been the same Smokey fans fell in love with. But Ice Cube had his eyes on someone else, a young, hungry comedian out of Atlanta who was lighting up Death Comedy Jam with his wild stage energy and street-smart confidence. That mix of chaos, charm, and raw talent was something special. His name was Chris Trucker. Trucker had packed up and moved to Los Angeles back in 1990 with nothing but big dreams and pure determination. He was starting to make waves in the stand-up scene, known for his lightning-fast delivery, wild expressions, and that one-of-a-kind voice that nobody could forget. Ice Cube saw the spark right away and was convinced this was the guy. All he had to do now was crush the audition and make everyone else see it too.
That's why I've been like, fuck Hector.
Yeah, I remember that.
Pete.
Secret 7. That audition was a total train wreck. What was supposed to be Trucker's big break turned into a mess. According to the casting director, it was downright awful. Trucker had just wrapped a run of live shows, barely slept, and hadn't even finished reading the script. When he finally stepped in front of the camera, the magic was gone. His energy was low, his timing was off, and that iconic Smokey spark was nowhere to be found. Ice Cube sat there watching his perfect choice completely fall apart, while the studio execs exchanged nervous looks, already doubting the pick. Everything was falling apart, the audition was bombing, and the room was tense. Most actors in that position would have been cut on the spot. One chance, one shot. You mess it up, you're done. But then, something unexpected happened. Something that would quietly change comedy history forever.
Oh, nigga, that's Janet Jackson. Oh, Janet Jackson! The girl Debbie hooked me up with.
Director F.G. Gray saw something that nobody else did. Behind Chris Trucker's exhaustion, the shaky delivery, and the missed lines, he spotted a raw spark, a kind of natural brilliance just waiting to burst out. He refused to give up on him. Gray went to bat for Trucker, convincing the skeptical studio execs to give this new kid one more shot. But Trucker wasn't in great shape mentally. He was nervous, burned out, and scared he was about to lose the opportunity of a lifetime. That's when an unlikely hero stepped in. Secret 8. A plate of spaghetti literally saved the movie. Angela Means, the actress who had just been cast as Felicia, saw Trucker struggling hard during rehearsals. Instead of watching him drown, she decided to do something bold. She invited him over to her place for dinner. Think about that. She was new to the cast, trying to secure her own spot, but she still took a chance on kindness, and it changed everything. Over dinner, she helped Trucker calm down, get centered, and reconnect with the heart of the character. According to Faison Love, who played Big Worm, Trucker had been terrified. He thought big names like Dave Chappelle or D.L. Hewley might slide in and steal the role right out of under him.
Oh, so they opened that already.
Yup. I heard they hiring too. You need to go down there and see what's up. Show how to work ass.
But that one dinner, that one plate of spaghetti, gave Trucker the confidence he needed to turn it all around. Angela Means didn't just invite Chris Trucker over. She saved his career that night. She spent the whole evening helping him find Smokey's voice, running scenes over and over, breaking down every line until it clicked. She showed him the rhythm, the flow, and the soul of the story they were trying to tell. They weren't just practicing lines, they were building a whole world together. By the time that plate of spaghetti was gone, everything had changed. Angela later said that by the end of the night, Chris Trucker was Smokey. The next day, he walked into that second audition with a whole new energy and absolutely crushed it. The room exploded with laughter. The transformation was complete. And just like that, one of the most iconic comedy performances of the 90s was born, over spaghetti in someone's kitchen, because one actress cared enough to help. Secret 9. Some of Chris Trucker's most legendary lines weren't even in the script. That's right, when you watch Friday, you're not just watching written comedy, you're watching pure, unfiltered magic. Trucker was given freedom to improvise, and he took that freedom and ran wild with it.
So many of his funniest moments came straight from his gut, spontaneous, hilarious reactions that the cameras just happened to capture. The filmmakers saw his genius and decided to roll with it. They'd filmed the written version first, then let Tucker loose to try out new riffs, and some of those unscripted takes ended up being the ones that made history. Those off-the-cuff lines weren't random. Tucker was Smokey. He understood the character so deeply that even his improvised moments felt real, natural, and unforgettable. That's what true talent looks like. Secret 10. Bye Felicia.
But yeah, Sister Jones in?
Nope. Neither's brother Jones. They both at work.
The most iconic line in Friday, the one that turned into endless memes and everyday slang, came straight out of real-life annoyance. That's right. Bye Felicia wasn't even supposed to happen the way it did. Angela Means completely broke from the script and created an unscripted moment that changed pop culture forever. Here's how it was written. Felicia was supposed to walk up to the porch, ask Craig and Smokey for something, get brushed off, and walk away. Simple. But Angela started thinking deeper. Who really was Felicia? What kind of person would she be? In her mind, Felicia wasn't just some random neighbor. She was that person who constantly crossed lines, who didn't get personal space, who always made things awkward. So without warning anyone, she switched it up. She walked over, sat herself right between Ice Cube and Chris Tucker on that porch, and threw the whole rhythm off. Watch that scene again. Tucker's face says it all. That look of real irritation and surprise, that wasn't acting. He was genuinely caught off guard and annoyed that she sat between them. And Ice Cube's cold, dismissive "Bye Felicia," that was pure, natural reaction, not a rehearsed line. That tiny, unscripted moment turned into one of the most famous quotes in movie history. The authenticity, that raw energy, made it unforgettable. Secret 11. Despite all the smoke clouds and laid-back vibes on screen, Ice Cube stayed completely sober the entire time. Fans always assumed he and Chris Tucker were actually getting high during filming, but nope, Cube kept it professional. Even while playing one of the chillest, most relatable stoners in cinema, he made a firm decision. No real weed on set, period. That discipline kept the comedy sharp and the performances real, all without a single puff. So why did Ice Cube stay completely sober on set? Because this wasn't just another acting gig. This was his first movie as a producer. The pressure was real. With a tiny budget of under $3 million and only 20 days to shoot the entire film, there was no room for mistakes. Every hour counted, every dollar mattered, and Cube had to stay sharp, mind clear, eyes focused, and ready to make tough calls at any moment. Even Chris Tucker followed his lead. The vibe on set might have looked chill on camera, but behind the scenes, the professionalism was next level. They were cracking jokes, yeah, but they were working like machines to make every scene count. The comedy felt effortless, but that effort was built on discipline. Secret 13. The budget was insanely small, less than $3 million to make an entire feature film, and that's including the cast, the crew, the sets, everything. For comparison, most comedies in the mid-90s cost anywhere from $20 to $50 million. Friday was made for pocket change compared to that. They had to shoot fast, 20 days total. That meant no fancy setups, no time for do-overs, and definitely no reshoots. Every shot had to land perfectly the first time. Those brutal limits ended up being a blessing, though. They forced the team to get creative, to stretch every dollar, and to think outside the box. That tight, on-the-edge energy, you can feel it in the movie. It's part of what makes Friday so real and alive on screen. Secret 13. Two future stars were secretly hiding in Friday. Most people never noticed them, but they're right there. A young Megan Good, just 13 years old, appears as one of the kids on the block, long before she became a major Hollywood actress and TV star. And in a blink-and-you'll-miss-it cameo during a flashback scene, you can actually spot Michael Clark Duncan, years before his breakout role in The Green Mill. This was long before Michael Clark Duncan became the powerhouse actor we all remember from The Green Mill and other major hits. Friday ended up being a secret launchpad for talent, a movie that quietly helped shape careers nobody saw coming. Secret 14. John Witherspoon got paid almost nothing. The late great legend who gave us one of the funniest and most iconic movie dads ever later dropped a bombshell about what went down behind the scenes. According to Witherspoon himself, the main cast members, including him, each were paid around $5,000 for the entire film. Yeah, you read that right.
Just $5 for a movie that would go on to pull in over $27 million at the box office and grow into a massive franchise worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It's wild to think about. All that laughter, all that legacy built on pocket change paychecks. But Witherspoon didn't hold any grudges. He understood exactly what kind of project this was. A small, low-budget indie film made from pure heart and hustle. Nobody on that set knew they were making history. They just wanted to make something good. That humble start is part of what makes Friday so real. It was built on passion, not money. Secret 16. Friday changed comedy forever. Before this movie dropped, hood films were all about tragedy, struggle, and violence. Movies like Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society showed one side of the story, the pain. But Friday flipped the script. It proved that you could tell stories from the same neighborhoods and make them hilarious. It showed the world that even in the toughest places, people still found joy, laughter, and community. Friday didn't just make people laugh, it changed the whole game. Without being disrespectful to the classics that came before it, this movie cracked open doors for a whole generation of black comedies that followed. From the Barbershop series to Next Friday and Friday After Next, and even more films that captured everyday life with humor and honesty. They all owe something to what Ice Cube and his team pulled off. Secret 16, the million-dollar mystery that shocked everyone. When Next Friday dropped in 2000, fans were stunned. Smokey was gone. The unstoppable duo of Craig and Smokey had been split apart, and nobody could figure out why. For years, people kept guessing, arguing, and digging for answers. Why would Chris Tucker walk away from the role that made him superstar?
The rumors flew fast, and the truth turned out to be deeper than anyone expected. Ice Cube's version of the story pointed to money and religion. According to him, Tucker was offered somewhere between $10 to $12 million to come back as Smokey. $12 million to play the same character that audiences adored. But Tucker said no. Cube explained that Tucker had become a devout Christian and didn't want to curse or pretend to smoke weed on screen anymore, both key parts of Smokey's character. Secret 17. Chris Tucker's side of the story flipped the narrative. When he finally opened up about why he turned down the sequel, he didn't deny the religious side, he confirmed it, but he added a layer that nobody had heard before. Tucker said the success of Friday had changed everything for him. The movie had become so big, so quoted, and so loved that he started to feel uneasy about what it represented. He didn't want to be the face of smoking weed for an entire generation, especially once he started focusing more on his faith and positive influence. What fans saw as just a funny movie, Tucker began to see it as a message he didn't want to keep repeating. The cultural impact of Friday grew way bigger than Tucker ever expected, and that came with pressure he didn't want. He started realizing that millions of people were quoting Smokey, mimicking his lines, and treating weed jokes like gospel. He respected the love, but he didn't want to carry that responsibility forever. But there was more to it than just faith. Tucker later admitted that he simply wasn't into sequels. He liked putting everything into one great performance, then moving on to something new. Staying in one role, repeating the same jokes, that didn't excite him. He wanted to grow as an artist, test himself, and prove he could do more than just one kind of character. Walking away from Smokey wasn't easy, but Tucker saw it as a move toward freedom, a chance to push his career forward. And he was right. The timing couldn't have been better, because what came next would change his life forever. Secret 18. The rush hour factor. John Witherspoon had his own take on why Tucker left, and he didn't sugarcoat a thing. He agreed that the church influence played a part, and yeah, Tucker wanted to explore new roles, but Witherspoon added something brutally honest: the money. Chris Tucker was about to become one of Hollywood's highest-paid actors, raking in around $20 million per movie for the Rush Hour franchise. Think about that. $20 million to crack jokes and kick it alongside Jackie Chan in blockbuster action comedies that would make him a global superstar. Witherspoon couldn't help but laugh about it later. He joked, "Man, for that kind of money, I wouldn't have come back either." And honestly, who could blame him? Can you really blame Chris Tucker for walking away?
The Friday sequels were offering him around $10 to $12 million, sure, but Rush Hour was dangling $20 million per movie plus a cut of the profits. From a business point of view, that's not even a hard choice. One deal meant staying in the same lane, the other meant joining a global franchise and leveling up to superstar status. Secret 19, the hidden feud nobody talked about. Money and religion weren't the whole story. There was something deeper brewing behind the scenes. Most fans never caught it, but insiders knew there was tension between Ice Cube and Chris Tucker after the first Friday. They always said it was all love in interviews, but the energy told a story. The tension went beyond scheduling or contracts. It got personal. At the center of it all was one question that quietly poisoned their friendship. Who really deserved the credit for Friday? Secret 21. The opening of next Friday dropped a subtle clue about that feud, hidden right in plain sight. Early in the movie, there's a line about people trying to take credit for writing the original script. Fans immediately picked up on it, guessing it was a direct jab from Ice Cube aimed at Chris Tucker. Why? Because Tucker's improv had become legendary. So many of his funniest lines, the ones fans quote to this day, weren't even in the script. He brought Smokey to life with his wild energy, quick wit, and over-the-top expressions. Those weren't written down anywhere. Take the line, "You got knocked the F out." That became a straight-up cultural catchphrase. To this day, fans still argue over whether it was scripted or completely improvised. That's how blurred the line between actor and writer became. Tucker's timing, his body language, the way he reacted to every crazy thing on screen, it was all pure instinct. So when Ice Cube later claimed full creative ownership of Friday, Tucker felt disrespected. From his perspective, he'd poured his soul into Smokey. He was Smokey. But on the other side, Cube saw it differently. He built the world, written the story, and guided the vision from day one. When Tucker seemed to suggest he made the movie what it was, Cube felt like his hard work was being downplayed. It wasn't just a disagreement about credit, it was the painful breakup of a creative bond and a friendship that had built something legendary.
Secret 22. The cast started dying too young. The success of Friday should have been nothing but a celebration, but over time, it became shadowed by heartbreak. Some of the film's most beloved stars passed away far too early. Bernie Mac, the hilarious Pastor Clever who stole the scene with his lifelike charisma, passed away in 2008 at just 50 years old from complications of sarcoidosis, a rare autoimmune disease. Before his death, Bernie had become a full-blown comedy legend, but his loss hit fans and the Friday family hard. Bernie Mac's legacy stretched far beyond Friday. He became one of comedy's greatest, starring in the original Kings of Comedy and headlining his own hit show, The Bernie Mac Show. His journey was pure inspiration. Growing up in Chicago, life wasn't easy. He faced loss, struggle, and pain. But out of that hardship came purpose. Bernie once shared that his dream to become a comedian started with one powerful moment. He watched his mother, who was battling cancer, laugh at Bill Cosby on TV. That laughter gave him hope. He made a vow right then that he would make people laugh so his mother would never have to cry again. And he kept that promise with every joke, every performance, and every stage he ever stepped on. Secret 24. Tommy Tiny Lister's passing shocked everyone. Tommy Tiny Lister Jr., the man who made Debo one of the most unforgettable characters in movie history, passed away in 2020 at just 62 years old from cardiovascular disease. His death hit fans hard. Before Hollywood knew him as the scariest guy on the block, Lister was already a star in a different world. He was a college shot put champion and even a professional wrestler known in the ring as Zeus, where he famously faced off against Hulk Hogan. That lifelike presence made him unforgettable both on and off screen. Lister was born blind in his right eye,
which gave him that distinctive, intimidating stare that made Debo so menacing. But off-camera, he was the total opposite. Ice Cube once called him America's favorite bully, a man who might have looked terrifying on screen, but was actually one of the kindest, most humble souls you could ever meet. And here's something most fans don't know. Lister almost didn't get the part. Casting directors were originally searching for someone even bigger, someone who could physically dominate the role. But when Lister stepped in, he brought something no one expected: humor. The way he delivered lines like, "What bike?" turned what could have been a flat, one-dimensional villain into a fan favorite, a character people loved to hate. His mix of intimidation and comedy made Debo legendary, and his loss left a hole in Hollywood that can never be filled. Tiny Lister's ability to blend menace with comedy was pure genius, a masterclass in acting. That unforgettable fight scene between Debo and Craig at the end of Friday wasn't just random punches. They rehearsed that showdown for days. Every swing, every fall, every hit was carefully choreographed to look real without anyone getting hurt. The dedication and professionalism both actors brought to that scene made movie history. It was raw, powerful, and perfectly executed. Secret 25. A.J. Johnson's death revealed a hidden struggle. In 2021, Anthony A.J. Johnson, the hilarious actor who played the chaotic neighborhood thief Ezal, passed away at only 55 years old from multi-system organ failure after years of battling chronic alcohol use. It was a harsh reminder that behind all the laughter, many comedians carry heavy pain that fans never get to see. A.J. Johnson was more than just a scene stealer. He was a comedy craftsman. Long before Friday, he'd already made his name in classics like House Party. His performance as Ezal, the clumsy, desperate hustler, was pure physical comedy brilliance. The way he moved, the wild faces he made, that panicked voice whenever he got caught, it was all executed with perfect timing. What most people don't realize is that AJ studied comedy. He wasn't just winging it. He studied legends like Red Fox and Red Skelton, pulling from their techniques to shape Ezal's hilarious and unpredictable personality. Every flinch, every stumble, every exaggerated cry was intentional, crafted for maximum impact. Cast members later shared that AJ was one of the funniest people on set, constantly cracking everyone up between takes. His humor was infectious, his energy unmatched, and his loss hit the Friday family hard. He may have played a small-time thief on screen, but his comedic legacy, that was pure gold. Even when the cameras weren't rolling, A.J. Johnson kept the energy alive. He could improvise entire scenes off the top of his head, having the whole crew doubled over in laughter between takes. His quick wit and fearless comedy brought a lightness to the set that everyone remembered. And when he passed, the loss hit deep. He wasn't just funny on screen. He was the kind of person who made every moment feel alive.
Secret 27. Angela Means' painful secret. Out of all the behind-the-scenes stories, hers might be the most heartbreaking. Angela Means, the actress who played Felicia, became part of movie history with one short line that took on its own life. Bye, Felicia. But what started as a fun, throwaway moment turned into something she never saw coming. Angela was a serious actress who took her craft to heart. She built a real backstory for Felicia, imagining her as a kind but struggling woman, misunderstood by her community and ignored by everyone around her. She didn't play Felicia for laughs, she played her with empathy. She gave a small role soul. But when the Bye Felicia line exploded into a worldwide meme, it became both a blessing and a curse. People started shouting the line at her in public, not as fans, but mockingly. She's spoken openly about how painful it became, strangers yelling insults, calling her disrespectful names, treating her like a joke instead of an artist. The same line that made her famous
also brought her years of emotional hurt. Angela felt like she, just like her character, had been dismissed. What she created as a layered human performance had been reduced to a punchline. But her story didn't end there. Today, Angela has found peace and purpose. She runs a thriving vegan restaurant in Los Angeles called Jackfruit Cafe, focusing on health, nourishment, and positive energy. She's using her platform to rewrite Felicia's legacy, turning pain into empowerment and reclaiming her story with strength and grace. Angela Means has since redefined Felicia, not as a joke, but as a symbol of resilience. Her story reminds everyone that actors are real people, and the characters they bring to life can leave lasting marks, both beautiful and painful, in their real lives. Secret 27, the 20-year war for the final movie. For 2 whole decades, fans begged Ice Cube for one last Friday, and for 2 decades straight, he had to keep breaking their hearts. The project wasn't just delayed, it was trapped. DJ Pooh later revealed that a studio executive was blocking the franchise from moving forward. Behind the scenes, Ice Cube was locked in a long, frustrating battle with Warner Brothers, the very company that owned the Friday universe, the characters, the names, the story, everything. Ice Cube wasn't just fighting for a paycheck, he was fighting for ownership of his art. He believed the studio didn't truly understand what Friday meant to people, the culture, the comedy, the legacy, and he refused to hand over creative control just to get a green light. So he drew his line in the sand. Cube wanted to make the final film his way, with his vision, without the studio watering it down. It became a real-life David versus Goliath situation, an artist battling a massive corporation for the right to control the world he created. For 20 long years, fans kept the hope alive. Cube kept promising it was coming, dropping hints in interviews, teasing progress, but every time, another deal would collapse. Legal red tape, executive changes, and endless back and forths kept the dream stuck in limbo. What was supposed to be a joyful reunion turned into one of Hollywood's longest-running creative standoffs. Ice Cube versus the system that didn't believe in Friday. Behind the scenes, fans were losing hope. For years, everyone kept asking the same question. Would we ever see Craig, Smokey, and that neighborhood one last time? The silence from the studios was frustrating. It felt like the dream was slipping away. Secret 28, the miracle that just happened. Then, out of nowhere, everything changed. In 2024, new leadership took over at Warner Brothers, and suddenly, the door that had been locked for 20 years swung open. The new execs actually got it. They understood what Friday meant, not just to fans, but to culture, to community, to history itself. And then, the news everyone had been waiting for finally dropped. After more than 20 years of waiting, the deal was officially done. In 2025, Ice Cube would write and star in the long-awaited 4th and final film, Last Friday. But that wasn't even the biggest shocker. It got better. Faison Love confirmed that after decades of saying no, Chris Tucker is expected to return to the franchise. That's right, Smokey is finally coming home. Still, the reunion comes with a bittersweet note. Some of the most beloved stars who built the Friday legacy, John Witherspoon, Tiny Lister, A.J. Johnson, and Bernie Mac, are no longer with us. Their absence will be felt deeply. There will be empty chairs at the table, but their spirit will live on through every laugh, every quote, and every memory this final movie brings back. Last Friday won't just be a sequel, it'll be a celebration of everything this story stood for. A tribute to the legends who made us laugh, and a love letter to the culture that raised it. What began with 2 friends from South Central trying to show the real side of their neighborhood, the laughter, the love, the everyday grind, turned into a cultural phenomenon that defined an entire generation.
Regina King,
who played the sharp, loyal sister, went on to become one of Hollywood's most respected actresses, even winning an Oscar. But her life hasn't been untouched by grief. She's faced unimaginable loss and still continues to rise with strength and grace. Nia Long became a timeless film icon, shining in classic after classic, her name forever linked with elegance and power. Ice Cube turned his vision into an empire, conquering music, film, and business, proving that he could build and own his legacy on every level. And Chris Tucker? He became a global superstar, starring in massive blockbusters and reaching levels of fame few comedians ever achieve, even if it meant walking away from the role that made him famous, leaving Smokey behind. Each cast member's journey tells a different part of the same truth, that success is never simple. It comes with sacrifice, with loss, with growth. The fame, the legacy, the laughter, they all came at a cost. But those 20 whirlwind days back in 1995 didn't just make a movie, they built a family. A complicated, imperfect, unforgettable family whose bond, for better or worse, would last a lifetime. Now, after 30 years, it's finally happening. One last chapter, one final good day. When you sit down to watch Last Friday, remember, you're not just watching another comedy sequel. You're witnessing the end of a legacy. A story that started with raw frustration, was fueled by friendship, shaped by improvisation, and, unbelievably, saved by a plate of spaghetti. It's a journey that pushed through creative feuds, personal heartbreaks, and unimaginable loss, yet still stood strong. Friday proved that sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones people say you can't tell. Stories that rise from the real, the rough, and the overlooked, and turn struggle into laughter that lasts for generations. So tell us, which of these secrets blew your mind the most? Are you ready to see Smokey make his long-awaited return? Did you already know about the behind-the-scenes feud between Ice Cube and Chris Tucker? Or the years-long fight just to make this movie happen? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. And if you've loved uncovering all these wild behind-the-scenes truths about Friday, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the culture. We've got even more shocking Hollywood secrets coming your way, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next video.